Welcome to Tesla Red, and welcome to the first episode of EV News.
This will be a regular program every 2 or 3 weeks, just covering the latest news in EVs. Hopefully you guys like it.
So first cab off the rank for this episode is the Tesla annual shareholder meeting, which was held yesterday in Texas. They say don't mess with Texas. I'd say don't mess with Tesla retail shareholders. The biggest item on this meeting was the re-ratification of Elon's compensation package, which was fairly controversially overturned by a Delaware judge. It was resoundingly revoted, and even higher percentages, almost 77% of shareholders voted in favour. This is important for the company and really sets up the company for future success. So it was really good to see this again be ratified and that the judge's ruling was completely wrong. On top of that, Tesla had a vote to move their state of incorporation from Delaware to Texas, which also passed. And I see there's many other companies following suit. So that judge has cost Delaware quite considerably. I'll say again, a huge vote of thanks for Alexandra Mertz, who on behalf of all Tesla shareholders, really rallied the troops, helped make sure that people could vote. There were still a lot of people in Europe, especially who weren't able to vote, who wanted to vote. Without her, I think we wouldn't have had such a great turnout. And it was really fantastic to see the community come together and make their voice heard. There was quite a few more interesting tidbits that came out of the keynote address. Shareholder meetings generally with Tesla don't involve product announcements. They save those for separate events. However, they had this graphic, which I think has been seen before, showing upcoming vehicles. There's 3 undercover there. 2 are showing the exact same shape. Whether that's rendered accurately or not, I don't know. It might just represent 2 similar sized vehicles. And one clearly looks like a van. I'm assuming all 3 are using the new unboxed methodology they're looking at. One could be robotaxi, the other one may be the affordable new EV, and obviously a van-shaped EV. It could also be that one's a roadster. I don't think that's a high priority for Tesla at the moment, but that is something they are still planning to bring back out again. We'll probably know more on the 8th of the 8th when the robotaxi unveil event is being held. There was quite a bit more information about FSD, progress, and safety. I like this graphic here, which was produced by ARK Invest, who do some really excellent research into tech firms. This one here shows the safety margins for Tesla and FSD compared to a human-driven Tesla, Waymo, national average, and Cruise. The graph there is actually showing thousands of miles per crash on surface streets only, so not including highways. And you've got a Tesla and FSD at 3.2 million miles per crash, whereas the national average in the US is 192,000 miles. And a human-driven Tesla is still showing a significantly safer at 588,000 miles per crash. For those unaware, Waymo and Cruise are 2 driverless taxi systems which are operating in certain geo-fenced areas. They require HD mapping of all the roads and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sensors to make them work. But you can see even there, with all those extra systems, their safety margins are a lot less than a Tesla, even a human-driven Tesla, let alone FSD. Another interesting slide was this graphic showing the life cycle of batteries, and that battery these days should outlast a vehicle by quite a margin. So if you look at that graph, it's showing the degradation rate of a long-range Tesla battery. And you can see there that after 200,000 miles, you're still well over 80% of your original range. Now, the LFP batteries are even more stable, so they should last even longer. But you can see there that after approximately 100,000 kilometers, you're really starting to flatten out that curve, and it really doesn't degrade much more at all. So in summary, the future looks very bright for Tesla. I expect to see a new compensation package being proposed for Elon, which will involve another whole round of very ambitious targets for Tesla to reach. And that should be great for consumers, great for shareholders, and great for the world in general. There's now a study from Bloomberg which shows that the sticker price for a 300-mile range EV is now cheaper than the average US car price. Now, this is sticker price, and I really encourage people who are looking at EVs to look at total cost of ownership, because that is where the real savings are made. There are a lot of people who don't delve that deeply into things and just look at the sticker price. When you factor in the fact that you're not paying for servicing, you're not paying for the exorbitant prices of fuel, the EV cost of ownership is already significantly lower than any ICE vehicle. So this just makes it even better, and will encourage more people to delve into EVs and hopefully see how great the experience is. Some more data from Bloomberg showing yet again, despite the reports you see in the media, which are total fabrications, the growth of EV sales is continuing. 2024 is looking to be another record year. The trend is definitely still very much on the upward curve, as opposed to ICE vehicle sales, which have been in decline since 2019. Data here is for Australian sales of electric vehicles, and we can see the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y together are over 18,000 year to date at the end of May. BYD coming in second with about 7,000-ish, including the Seal, Addo, and Dolphin. So definitely a massive market share for Tesla, with BYD putting a fairly good showing in as well. More great news for the Tesla Model Y, with it winning the Auto Trader Car of the Year 2024. That is for all cars, not just EVs. However, those waiting for the new Model Y refresh, which is supposedly codenamed Juniper, Elon has confirmed on Twitter that the refresh is not coming out this year. So expect it, if it comes out next year in Shanghai or even Berlin, maybe the first for the Model Y. We won't see it here till at the very least late next year, probably the year after. He does point out, which is a great point on Tesla vehicles, with the over-the-air updates, a 5-6-year-old vehicle is every bit as capable as a new one. It's one of the huge advantages of Tesla technology that the vehicles are able to remain very much up to date through over-the-air updates and add new features all the time. So I wouldn't worry too much if you're considering the Model Y about waiting for the refresh, unless you really don't need a car right now. I'm willing to wait a year, 2 years. So the other big news of recent was the restructuring of the Supercharger team. That caused a lot of people to fly into panic as usual, and I think they were a little bit premature. There was obviously a slowdown in deployments, but it seems that they have kicked off at full speed again. I'll focus on the Australian movements for this segment. We've seen a number of sites change from V3 superchargers to V4. Those are sites that are open to other types of vehicles, so it allows them to have that longer cable to reach charging ports that are put in less opportune spots. From what I've heard, those V3 stalls that are removed from those sites are then going to be added to existing sites or used for new sites. As far as new sites that have come up or in the process of being completed, this information comes from supercharge.info, which is a great resource for looking at what is happening with supercharger rollouts. We've got this site pictured from Taree, which is a 12-stall V4 site, so a very nice number of stalls, and the fastest stalls that are currently available. So that's going to be looking like being commissioned very soon. We have this 6-stall version 3 supercharger site at Springwood in Queensland. It's also popped up very quickly and looks like it is very close to completion as well. That one should take a big load off Logan, which I believe gets pretty busy. We have another 6-stall version 3 site at Campbellfield in Victoria. Looks like it's at a Hungry Jack's, so if people like that sort of food, that's a handy, convenient stop. And lastly, not a great picture, unfortunately, but the 9-stall version 4 supercharger, which is being installed at Chatswood Chase in New South Wales. Now, for a bit of international flavour, this is the currently being constructed Tesla supercharger diner and drive-in theatre in Los Angeles. As you can see, it's progressing pretty well. And this is what it's going to look like when it's completed. It should be a very interesting and unique site. I think it's a good way for Tesla to demonstrate what you can do at a supercharger site and hopefully give some ideas to other builders of supercharger infrastructure to really think outside the box and outside of the service station norms. You've got a completely different audience who are able to plug in and then go about doing whatever they want while they charge rather than sitting there holding a nozzle. So there's certainly better dining options and that kind of thing that can be available for those people and really enhance the supercharging experience. If anyone has any pictures or any news on upcoming sites, please feel free to send them to me at Tesla Red Tools on X, and we'll get them into the next segment. As far as software updates goes, we recently received the spring update, which was the 2024.14.x series, brought a number of UI and other improvements to our vehicles. We've just got the 2024.20.1 release, which didn't really bring a lot more to the Australian vehicles. We know that there's further improvements to the adaptive headlights coming with the ability to turn into corners and that kind of thing. We also know that hopefully Autopark will be available for the non-USS vehicles using the new vision system. That should hopefully come in the next couple of point releases. For Australian vehicles, as you can see here, it's available currently in the US, and you can select any parking spot in the area just by clicking on the spot on the screen, and it then goes ahead and performs a park into that parking spot. I've seen it pull some really, really difficult parking maneuvers off with ease, so it's really going to be a great addition to our vehicles. In the US, we've seen the release of software version 2024.15.5, which is only released to a small number of testers, with the latest version of FSD version 12.4.1. Some of the videos you see from the likes of Omar here with Whole Mars blog are really fantastic, the way that the system is working. We have seen some reports that the 12.4.1 version has had some regressions in as far as lane choosing and that kind of thing. That's to be expected when there's so many changes to a new version. But the way that FSD is progressing is really phenomenal, in my opinion. I think it's going to save millions of lives once this technology is well matured and out there in a majority of vehicles. The fact that just with cameras, Teslas are being able to make a system that can perform all driving tasks anywhere, anytime, as opposed to likes of Waymo, which are still having a lot of problems, even in very small walled gardens that are using hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sensors and 3D mapping and the whole works. There's no doubt really that Tesla are decades ahead of everyone else in this technology. We're hearing that there are vehicles testing now in China, and it looks like release more widely in China is imminent. I can only hope that we get it here in Australia in the not too distant future. I'm very keen to test it out and really get it and see this technology advance. Anyhow, that'll do it for the mid-June edition of EV News, the very first and hopefully first of many. Please let us know what you like, what you don't like, how you think it could improve. If you've got anything you'd like to contribute, please hit me up on X. It's probably the easiest way. If you like the content, please give us a like and subscribe. If you don't like it, please give us a like and subscribe. Please share it to your friends. Let us know what you don't like if you don't like it. Thanks for helping us get to 500 subscribers. Hopefully we can keep growing from there. Until next time, safe driving.